Hello, welcome, good morning, Empowered Living community. This is Paul Martinelli, and I'm actually recording this message because this weekend and next weekend, I'm in the middle of a live sales boot camp with a couple of hundred people who are making their way into South Florida for our sales training. So we are really excited about that. And so I thought we would kind of leave the double your income teaching behind for a minute, because this is kind of a timely lesson. You know, as we enter into a new year, everybody sits down and thinks about, what it is that we want to create, what our goals are going to be for this new year. And, once we gain clarity on what our goal is, the next logical step is the how, right? Let's think about the plan of action. And we then devise a plan in order to achieve the goal. What are the logical things, the predictable things that we can, kind of foresee that would allow us to reach the goal? And all of the plans that we make are strategically thought out in order to create success. However, there are plans that we have kind of already embedded, operating systems, mindset, behavioral patterns that are plans in and of themselves that actually sabotage our success. And over my years of probably 30 years now, I started my first official business in 1988, a commercial cleaning business. I've realized that there were times where I really locked into a goal. I had a great plan. I was working a great plan, and yet I sabotaged my success from some internal plan, some methodology that I had adapted to, making decisions in my life. And so I want to share those 10 with you. I'm going to cover 3 of the first 3, and these are in no special order, right? I think they're all deadly, right? So the first one is when we voice our own opinion as facts or truth. So we may have an opinion. I know many of you are speakers and teachers and trainers, you're coaches, right? And so you're selling your time as a service. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be maybe you're getting ready to sell your house, and that's part of your plan is to, part of your goal is to be able to sell the house and make the money and put it in a different investment. And you come up with this opinion that nobody would pay this much money for my service, or nobody would pay this much money for the property. And that's just our held opinion. It's not based in fact. We don't have any facts. Facts kind of require a result, right? There has to be a result. Now, you can have an opinion and have absolutely no result. There's so many times when somebody's starting their business and, they're new entrepreneurs, and most new entrepreneurs who are solopreneurs kind of entering into the gig economy, they're on a shoestring budget, right? We call them, bootstrappers. You're going to, pull yourself up from your own bootstraps. It means that you're at some level, you're running on a shoestring budget, right? And so we don't have the money to hire a marketing firm, and we may not even have the time or money to build out fancy landing pages or website, or to pay for advertising on YouTube and Google and TikTok and LinkedIn and Facebook and all that you have to do. And so oftentimes I'll tell people, well, then what you should do is you should go out and cold call. I'm a big fan and proponent of cold calling. It's how I built my commercial cleaning business. In the early days, I went door to door to door, asking people if I could clean their office. It's how I built my coaching and speaking practice, going door to door, asking people if I could come in and do a lunch and learn, or a mastermind group, or some kind of customized workshop. So I'm a big proponent of this idea of going door to door. And frequently when I share that with people, they'll tell me, well, that doesn't work. That won't work in my city. That won't work in my town. That won't work because of this or because of that. And I ask them, is that your opinion, or is that based on some fact-based results? I mean, have you tried it? Have you even tried it? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. So they have an opportunity, a new idea to kind of grow their business, to get things started, and they kill it based on some opinion that they defend as though it was a fact, to the degree that it becomes their truth that it won't work. In my fully resourced program, I talk about the difference between facts and truth. It may be a fact that, let's say, you don't have money right now. It may be a fact that maybe you're overweight right now. You're not in your ideal health. It may be a fact that you lack the skill or talent or resources to be, do, and have whatever this goal is. Those may be facts. And you may have evidence. You may have results that prove. You can look at your checkbook and say, look, here's the fact. I don't have the money. You can show me a videotape of you performing a speech, and maybe it's not so good, and you've got a result. It's a fact. The difference between facts and truth is that facts change, and not only do facts change, but you can change the facts. There's a higher truth. The truth is that you can get better. The truth is that you can be disciplined and practice. The truth is that maybe you can earn more money and save more money and invest more. There's a difference between fact and truth, and there's a difference between your opinion and fact and truth. And so be careful as you work towards your new goal that you don't allow opinion to sabotage you. You don't allow opinion to interfere with you maybe applying effort to a specific task that might actually get you what you want to get. And don't allow your opinions to be fiercely defended if you haven't even tried, if you haven't made any effort. I often say that opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one and should probably be kept their own. The other problem with opinions is not only do we sabotage our efforts and our successes based on our own opinions that are often based on our own limiting belief. That's where most opinions, if you think about it, most opinions are based really on not experience. They're based on our own limiting belief, our belief about ourselves, and then we form this opinion. It sounds perfectly logical. The other area that we make mistakes in about opinions is that we run around and we ask everybody what they think we should do. We ask everybody's opinion. I did this, oh my goodness, when I was in the cleaning business. Many of you know the story. The first 2 years those first 2 years in my business were filled with struggle, financial struggle, right? I had struggled, retaining employees. I had struggled getting new clients. It was a lot of struggle, as most businesses are. And I did what most entrepreneurs did. And that is I went around and I asked other people what they thought I should do. What's your opinion? And oh my goodness, everybody was willing to share their belly button with me, right? Some people told me I should raise my prices. Some people told me I should lower my prices. Some people told me I should pay my employees more. Some people told me I should lower what I pay my employees. Some people told me, I should niche market. I should only focus on maybe medical offices. Other people told me I should market to everybody. The truth is I think any plan will really work if you're willing to work it. But I know as an entrepreneur, you have to have willingness to try everything. And oftentimes, our close-held opinions based on our own beliefs, not experience, not results, not the truth of our potential, our own opinions really prevent us from doing everything. Everything. So when somebody tells me, I tried everything, and I say, well, have you gone door to door? They say, well, that won't work. Well, then you haven't tried everything, have you? So don't say that you've tried everything when you're defending your opinion. Okay? So that's the first mistake. And we don't plan to fail that way, but we have this kind of default operating system that has us, really relying on our own opinions or the opinions of other people. The second mistake, kind of behavior pattern that kills our plans, and this one sounds logical, is we plan to get ready. Like we spend so much time getting ready to execute that we actually never execute. I remember in 2006, after I had kind of graduated from a certification program to be a speaker, teacher, trainer, and coach, I knew I was going to have to get out there and give my first talk. And like most new speakers, I was clueless and I was nervous. And so, everybody I spoke to, even the people who trained me, said, look, Paul, you got to practice. You got to just practice in your living room. And I remember the first several Saturdays, I would set aside maybe 2 hours to practice this speech. So after writing out the script, right, and reading it and making sure every word was right, now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to practice. I would spend the first 90 minutes of my 2-hour rehearsal time getting ready, right? I would make sure that the camera was set up exactly perfectly. Maybe the lighting was exactly perfectly. My lavalier mic was perfect. I would move the plant from here to there. I would move the table here to there. I had a little kind of music stand that I would bend back and forth to make sure it was straight. I would make sure that all the papers were straight. And, maybe the printing size wasn't right, so I'd go back and reprint. I spent so much time getting ready and not executing. I was kind of in this paralysis of perfection. Really, what I was doing was I was procrastinating. I was using what would be, a justifiable excuse, right? Look, the only thing worse than the excuse is a good excuse. And the excuse that, I want to get it right and I want it to be perfect is just a great excuse. And so we waste so much time trying to get ready before we actually do something. So I created kind of a mantra for myself, and this is a great mantra, and I invite you to take it from me, okay? You need a result in order to improve a result. You want to improve your results in whatever area of your life it is. So you need to have a result. You need to take a step, create a result, and then improve that result. Don't worry about, over preparing and getting ready. Jump in and start. In my own kind of vernacular, when I was, building my businesses, my team, I would drive them nuts because I would say, look, what I want us to get whatever it is that we're going to do, let's get it functional, and then we'll improve. Let's get the shopping cart so somebody can click and buy, and then we'll worry about putting, pretty colors and pretty graphics on it. Let's get the website up and running, and then we'll worry about, how beautifully laid out it may be. We can improve it, but let's get it functional and then improve on it. If you think about it, the largest company in the world, arguably Apple, maybe $3 trillion. They launch a product almost every year or every 18 months, a new iPhone, one of these things, and they know they're not ready. And people stand in line for sometimes days to buy a product from Apple that they know isn't going to work 100% the way it was intended to work. And Apple knows it's not going to work, but Apple knows, what, they're going to do the very best they can do under kind of the laboratory, conditions. And then they're going to release it to the marketplace, and they're going to be ready that when the market starts to respond with complaints or with failures, then they're going to go in and they're going to write code and they're going to fix the problem as it sells. If it's good enough for Apple, if that strategy works for Apple, then that strategy will work in your business. You see, it ties right into what Emerson said. Emerson said, do the thing, and then you get the energy to do the thing. Now, he wasn't, of course, talking about the physical stamina of energy. He was talking that, energy is everything. Everything's energy. And he says, do the thing, do whatever it is that you want to do. Start the process. And then you'll get the energy to do the thing. Then you'll get the time. Then you'll get the ideas. Then you'll get the perfection. Then you'll get the skill, the talent, the money, the resources, the people, the connections, whatever it is that's necessary for the fulfillment of that image, you'll get. But you must be in flow. Getting ready is not part of the process. The process starts when you actually begin to execute. So, getting ready And I understand, believe me, I understand. I mean, you want to get it right. I get that. Look, I've got this home studio set up. Now, is it the end all? Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Is it functional? It's perfect for that. It's functional. Could it be better? Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness, we can get branded stuff and we can do all kinds of things that we could make this be better. But the truth is that we had to launch. We had to start. We had to solve the problem. We had to implement. We had to execute. And that's what we did. And now over time, we will improve the studio, we'll improve lighting, we'll improve microphone. We'll do all kinds of neat, fancy things. We'll put lower thirds in and we'll have all kinds of digital. We'll have all the bells and whistles. But right now, we're functional. I'm able to communicate with you. And that's the name of the game. It's about execution. And so don't kill all of your plans and don't kill your dream by using the excuse that you're getting ready. Okay? Here's the third thing is that we want to know how someone else did it before we kind of do it. I get this a lot when people are, asking about, maybe growing a business or starting a coaching business or starting a speaking business or, generating their first, $1 million year or launching their first, six-figure, product. How did I do it? And I understand at some level the importance of having a model. I get that. But see, what you have to understand is how I did it or how anybody did whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't really matter. In other words, there's 100 different ways to do it. My way isn't the right way. It's a right way. There's multiple right ways. When I first started my cleaning company, I had two business partners. And, when we were making no money, right, there were no problems in the partnership. As soon as there started to be some money, then all of a sudden everybody kind of had opinions about how everything was going to be done. And, it was like all of a sudden, one day there became 3 different ways to empty a trash can, right? And we would sit down and, debate on the process of what's the right way. Well, there's multiple right ways, right? So don't allow how someone else did it. I get it. You want to maybe model after somebody, and that's great. But don't lock yourself in to where you then delay doing what it is that you want to do because maybe you don't have the resources that they had. Maybe you don't have the skill or talent that they had. Maybe you don't have the connections that they had. And you think, well, they did it this way, so I can't do it because I lack whatever it is that's on that list of 12 things. And you only have 3 of those 12 things. You don't need those 12 things. That person needed those 12 things. You don't need those 12 things. So again, this really does tie back to kind of the teaching and fully resourced. The big picture of the idea of the fully resourced program is that if you can consciously become aware of a goal or an idea, then instantly and automatically you are connected to everything necessary for its fulfillment. You are fully resourced. Now, that doesn't mean that you know how to access those resources. Many of us don't know how to access the resources in us. We don't know how to access our imagination, our persistence, right? We don't have an understanding of the laws of creation. So we don't know how to access those things. But they're there. Price Pritchard said that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, right? It doesn't mean that it's not there just because you can't see it. You're fully resourced. You have everything. It doesn't mean that you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be a bumpy ride. It probably will be a bumpy ride. It doesn't mean that it's going to be smooth sailing. It's not. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It's probably likely going to be hard. It doesn't mean that it's going to be cheap. Chances are it's going to be 2 or 3 times what you expected to spend. But what it does mean is that if you can have the idea resident in your conscious awareness, then by absolute law, you are fully resourced to do it. And so when you model yourself after someone else's success, don't lock yourself in or limit yourself to the thinking that that's the only way to do it. There's multiple ways to do it. You have to find your own unique way. And you'll never find your own unique way if you have these, fiercely guarded opinions that aren't based on fact and don't model your truth. Or if you're living by kind of the opinion pool of what everybody else should do. Or if you find yourself getting bogged down getting ready and you spend so much time getting ready that you never actually go out and produce a result. So these are the first three kind of killers of us achieving our dream. So these are kind of internal plans, operating systems, modes of operation that we have, mindset, if you think about it, that really can kill our dream, kill our plan. And see, the problem with the plan is that we become so attached to our plan. We become so intellectually attached, emotionally attached, sometimes financially attached to the plan, that what we often do is we surrender the goal or lower the goal in favor of the plan. And when we're operating with these kind of thinking patterns as we execute on the plan, you could have the best goal and the best plan. And if you're living by opinion pool, if you're bogged down by getting ready, and if you're hell-bent to do it just a way and only one way, you won't have the flexibility and the dexterity to adapt to the marketplace. You won't find your own uniqueness. So I hope this has helped. Have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you next Saturday when we have another group of people in for our sales boot camp. Hey, if you're not here in Palm Beach, if you didn't join the boot camp, the sales boot camp, I'm telling you, hate to say it, you missed out. Next time it's offered, make sure you jump in on it. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Be well.